Yo, they say bigger is always better, right? I mean, women typically like bigger things. Men also typically like bigger things. I know for me, I like big cameras, you know what I'm saying? Big lenses. I like big personal protection items. I'm not about to get my channel demonetized, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And I like big, and I cannot lie. So the question is, did I get the bigger MacBook Pro? And I'm just gonna cut to the chase. The answer is no. Let me tell you why. What's up, y'all? Tight shirt Terry Warfield. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I didn't go with the bigger MacBook Pro. Let me tell you why. Before we do that, I gotta pay homage to the most amazing mythical warbird ever created, the F-22 Raptor. Now that we have that out the way, a lot of you may have seen my recent videos, and a lot of you already know that I picked the 14.2 inch, but I got a lot of comments in those videos like, do you feel like you picked the wrong one? Do you feel like you should have went with the 16 inch, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I'm gonna talk about. I do freaking everything on this computer. I even sold my Mac Mini, which was spec'd out to get this computer. So what do I do on it? I do a lot of video editing, mostly YouTube stuff, but the occasional client project. I edit a lot of photos on it. I do all of my word processing, all of my deals and all this stuff. Like everything goes through this freaking machine. Now, I did come from two MacBook Pros. The first one was a 15.4 inch 2019 version. Then I got the 2020 M1 joint, which is the 13 inch. And to be honest, because I'm always on the go, because I'm always editing, 13 inches on the M1 MacBook Pro did feel restrictive. Now, some of you might look like, oh, Terry, you got this huge monitor and another monitor over there. Why don't you edit on your monitor? Well, the reality is your boy works a 9 to 5. And a lot of times I'm sitting at this basement all day long. And the last thing I want to do after I get off work to then work on my YouTube grind is to sit down here for another 4 or 5 hours. So I'm usually working, like doing my edits on my MacBook Pro. Now, I feel like the 15.4 inch MacBook Pro that I had previously to that MacBook Pro M1 joint was a good screen size. The only thing I didn't like was it was a big notebook, and that was a big thing for me. So before I made this decision, I went to the store to check both of them out, the 16 inch and the 14 inch. And I'm gonna be honest, the 16 inch, the screen is so much better when it comes to real estate. Like, it's a huge difference. A lot of y'all don't think that going from 14 inches to 16 inches is a huge difference. I'm here to tell you it's a huge freaking difference. However, it is a huge machine by comparison to the 14 inch. Now, don't get me wrong, these are first world problems. We know what laptops used to look like back in the day. Big old, thick bricks, a football field wide and all that stuff. This is not that. However, compared to the 14 inch, it is a lot bigger. That is where my problem came in. So I do absolutely love the idea of having a big 16 inch ridiculous screen that I can take around the house, take to these basketball games and edit, because I'm always at my kids' sports and stuff like that. I'm always editing on the go. However, that 16 inch machine, even when I had the 15.4 inch, let's go with the 15.4 inch, it wasn't comfortable to take around from spot to spot and pull it out of book bags and stuff like that to get my edit on. It was very unwieldy. Even just moving it back and forth up and down the steps and stuff like that. Yeah, it's pretty big. So while I do appreciate the screen real estate, let me explain why I went ahead and went with the 14 inch. Well, the number one thing is if I really want a freaking editing experience when I have a huge monitor in front of me, I'll just freaking dock it. But 13 inches was kind of too small. 16 inches for me is too big of a notebook. I gotta clarify notebook. Some of y'all, what does Terry talk about? I'm talking about the freaking computers, all right? 14.2 inches on the new MacBook Pro is, in my opinion, the sweet spot because it is much more real estate than what the 13 inch MacBook Pro gave you. And a lot of y'all will also say, oh, it's not that big of a difference. It absolutely is a huge difference coming from the 13 inch to the 14.2 inch. It's a freaking huge difference. On the 13 inch, I felt kind of like claustrophobic when I was editing and working on that screen. I don't feel like that on this machine. Now, could I have benefited from a bigger screen? Yeah, we talked about that. But in my opinion, if you are somebody who needs portability and you want the best of both worlds, then I think the 14.2 inch is the sweet spot. It gives you enough screen real estate while still maintaining a very small book baggable or hand holdable form factor that doesn't feel like I'm carrying around a freaking cookie sheet. So for me, 14.2 inches has not felt restrictive at all. I'm a pretty big dude. I have, fairly large hands. I have not found anything about this machine to feel restrictive. The trackpad, I know, is smaller. I can still use it with no problem. The screen, although it's not as big, I don't have any problems using it. I don't have eye strain. I don't feel like, oh man, I need to go get a bigger computer. I am cool with the 14.2 inch. If you're somebody who is gonna leave your MacBook on a freaking desk all day and is not gonna move, then obviously you probably wanna go with the MacBook Pro 16 inch. However, if you're somebody like me, where you're always editing on the go, you're going back and forth between upstairs, this room, that room, editing on the go, stuff like that, the portability and the screen size combo on this, in my opinion, is perfect. So anyways, let me know which one you went with. I know y'all have been having like whole fights in the comments about which one is better, 14 or 16. Like, it's freaking computers, y'all. You gotta relax. But let me know down below which one you prefer. And real quick before we get out of here, production details. A lot of y'all asked this in the comments. I'm filming with a Deity D3 going into a HDTX. My main camera is the Sony a7S III. I'm using a Tamron 17-28 with a 10% Cinebloom on the top. And that camera right there is the Sony ZV-1. All of the music in this video is from Epidemic Sound. If you want a free 30-day trial, that is below. All of the graphics, overlays, and stuff like that, those are from MOTIONVFX, and you can try those out down below also. So till next time, I'm out of here. It's getting hot. I'm getting sweaty. Piece of chicken grease. I'm out. Terry Warfield. Peace.